Michael Maher, the London GA manager. We're here in Grasshoppers Rugby Club, and this is where you train most evenings with the London Gaelic football team.
Yeah, this is our base midweek. It's a wonderful facility, as you can see. We've got an excellent 3G rugby pitch. We've access to the gym inside. Yeah, we do, yeah. No, we have to wait for 8 o'clock start on a Thursday because it's their juniors night. But no, it's a wonderful facility. We're delighted to be able to train here. The London Hurlers train here as well.
So this is the base. You don't have to sort of look around for other pitches. You get to come here each and every evening.
Yeah, this is us on a Tuesday and Thursday or Friday night, and then at the weekends we'd go to whatever football pitch is available. A few years ago we were on the grass pitches here and they got waterlogged, and we were like looking around for different pitches and training in 4 or 5 different places. So this year we said we'd stick with the 3G pitch here, and we were kind of guaranteed we'd be here every night, and it's been a huge reason in the consistency that we've had in performances this year.
And what does a typical week look like for a London GA player?
Boys will be in the gym Monday, so we've access to Harrow School Gym on a Monday night, and then we'd be here on a Tuesday. If we're travelling at the weekend, we train on a Thursday night. If we're not travelling, we train on a Friday night. And then obviously this week, Saturday, Sunday, we'll be away from home and fly out from Stansted on Saturday and back on Sunday night. So kind of this week, the lads are giving 5 days of their week to London football, which is a huge commitment, but look, one which they're all delighted to be given at the moment.
And London is a very big place, so I'm getting to see that myself, trying to get Ubers here tonight. How does that work for the lads when they're coming from work? I'm sure they have their own lives, they have all different professions, they probably don't understand GA as well. How does all that work for getting here?
Yeah, look, it's very tough, and we as a management have to be very understanding. Like, one big thing here, there might be times when lads just can't get out of work on time to get to football because their employers don't know. Like, one of the lads tonight has got a school open evening. We'd like them here at 7 to be doing some work in the gym before coming on the field, but he's got an open evening. He's having to get an Uber to get to training for an 8 o'clock start. So small things like that, we just have to look, we manage it, and we understand it. I think that's the one big thing about us. As long as the players are honest and upfront with us, we understand it. But the travel is a huge thing. Like, for lads here to travel 25 miles can take 2.5 hours in rush hour sometimes. I think James Hines, who was on off the ball before that night, he did the interview, he was actually late to training, so he got a bit of stick for that, but that just showed like he was delayed 10 minutes getting out of the office, and it took him the guts of 3 hours to get to training instead of what might have usually only been 2.5. So there is a lot of travel involved, but at the same time, look, it's a real privilege for each and every one of us to be involved with London, and you just accept it comes with the territory.
And for you, is that the same for you? Do you travel quite a distance? You're a teacher by profession yourself?
Yeah, I work out in the borough of Greenwich, so like as the crow flies, it's actually not a terrible journey, about 25-30 miles across London. But if you try to drive that through the city, you'd be 3.5-4 hours on a bad night. So I come out around the M25, and look, depending on the way the traffic goes, it's at least 2.25, 2.5 hours. Some nights can be 3 hours. So I get out at 3 o'clock as early as I can, and straight round to training to be here in good time to prepare.
And so let's talk about the team then themselves. There's something different about London GA this year. You have 3 wins so far, 1 loss. What is different, would you say?
Look, the pandemic was a disaster in so many ways, but it was great in the way that it was a real reset for all the players who were kind of on the road for a while with London, and had been there previously. I think it really made them reevaluate what a privilege it is to play into football. But look, the one thing we just instilled in the group from when we kind of were speaking to lads back in October, November, and then when we restarted in December, was we're just going to have a no excuses culture this year, complete no excuses culture. Give it absolutely everything. Like, London are traditionally bottom 2 in Division 4, don't win too many championship games, so we just set out a stall to take it a game at a time and focus on being in every game in a position to win the game with 10 minutes to go. That's the mantra we've taken, and so far every game we can put a tick next to where we're in a position to win the game with 10 minutes to go. We fell short against Wexford, deservedly so. On the day we didn't take our chances, Wexford did, so look, hopefully we've learned them lessons and we can go out and put another good performance in this weekend.
It was a very close game as well, like a lot of your games. Does that filter through the team when you're getting these wins? Is there a good mood in the camp?
Definitely, and the journey's home. Trust me, I was there in 2019. We had some tough journeys home. 2020, some tough journeys home when you're on the end of, I think Wexford beat us 17 points last time we played them in Wexford Park, and that's a long 7 hours to be on a bus and in the company of lads who everyone wants to win. Everyone's in sport to win games. Like, it's not beat about the bush. So we've just said this year, like, well, what can we do to win games? And we've made training as intense as possible. We've done our homework as much as possible. The boys are in as good a shape as I've ever seen a London team, and it's translating into performances, and then the key then is turning performances into wins, and we've been there or thereabouts in every game and got over the line in 3 and didn't in 1. So look, that's football, and you learn far more from a 2-point defeat than we had in a 2-point win. So look, we're in a good place, and it's going to be a massive battle this weekend against Sligo.
And how important is it to have a lot of the homegrown players? That's something that's maybe a bit different about the London team nowadays, is that you do have more homegrown players than there used to be.
Absolutely, we've got 10 lads in our extended panel of 35. When I was in as a coach with Kieran Dealey, Kieran had started to give a lot of London boys an opportunity to come in, and that was a really, really important thing just for the culture of the change room, to have lads that London was their county. And I guess the key is the London players will never disappear. Year on year, them boys will be in the change room. They'll be like the spine, the foundation of that group that regroups every year. So the one thing, all 10 lads that we've got in there now, they're a wide range of ages, from Liam Gavigan, who's 30 years old and is our captain, has been one of the longest serving boys in that change room. Every one of them has got something to offer London, all the way down to young 18-year-old Dara Griffin, who's like a massive potential, massive potential for the future. He'll be playing with the London junior team this year, but he's been training away with us over the last number of weeks, and then the games he'll get with the London-born junior team will bring him on, and hopefully in a year or two's time he'll be ready to start earning his crust at senior level.
And then as you look ahead to the years ahead, you'd like to plan, you'd like to look at things that way, but it's quite hard in a place like London when you know that there's going to be players going home. You know, people are only here for maybe a year, 2 years, and that's them. So how do you, I suppose, build for the future?
Definitely, I think, look, the one thing I learned from 2020 was never look further than kind of the next game and the few months ahead. So we're really focusing on 2022 now. I'm not looking beyond 2022, and we're really breaking it down game by game. As I said, like the London-born boys, you could guarantee they'll be there next year. We're lucky in that squad now. We've got a good few Irish lads that have played for London for a few years, but the panel was almost more or less overhauled. Like we had only 12 or 13 lads that were here in 2020 are still here now. So you look at that as 22 new lads in the space of a 2-year turnaround. So year to year, you usually be talking about probably 15 new players coming in. So I don't think you can ever plan too far ahead with London. You'd hope that the guys that you've picked will kind of stick around, but you also have to respect the fact that lads haven't come to London to play football. But if you can make football fit in with their lifestyle and they're willing to give that commitment to make it fit in around them, then absolutely wonderful. But like James was on the Off the Ball channel previously, James mentioned his partner's a primary school teacher. She's moving home this summer, and obviously I'm sure she'll be pulling on one arm to go, but we'd be pulling on the other arm for him to stay. So look, there's always them kind of little mini battles. You can't compete with that. You can never plan too far ahead, but what you can do is make sure that what you do in this calendar year is as good as humanly possible.
And for you and your career in sports, you were in soccer previous to coming into the GA world. How did you get involved in it?
I grew up playing Gaelic games. Dad was from Kilkenny, Mum's parents were Cork and Kerry, so played hurling predominantly as a kid, but then kind of hurling dropped out unfortunately in London, so Gaelic football took over, and then kind of when I went into the working world, I was given an opportunity in soccer with Red Hill Football Club. I'd served 5 years there, went up to first team manager, and by the time I left there, my own club Round Towers were looking for a manager, and kind of it just fell in at the right time. So I got back in with them, then set up the ladies team at the club, along with a few girls that had kind of moved into the area and looking for a club to form, and really enjoyed working with the men and ladies. It was 2 great challenges. And kind of from there, I guess Kieran gave me an opportunity with the London Seniors in 2019, which I'll forever be grateful for. It was a wonderful experience, and then Kieran didn't go back on in 2020, and I went for the job, and look, I've loved every second of it. So I thoroughly enjoy Gaelic football. The one frustration I had with soccer is the level kind of I was working at in semi-professional was lads would be arguing about £10 and £20 a week to play and perform, and they'd be having those conversations with you, and I couldn't get my head around that. So Gaelic football was just, you were getting a group of lads that were there for the love of the game, and I think you can far easier install a culture and a spirit into a group when lads are all there for the one collective reason, rather than like lads were comparing like salaries at the end of a week, and that was tough. So I think if I was ever to go back into soccer, I'd go back in maybe as a coach at a higher level, and be working in a group where you can really focus on the football side of things, whereas there was a lot of firefighting I found in soccer. So look, it's been brilliant. Gaelic football's been great to me, and I'm delighted to be able to give something back to my club now, and I'm thoroughly enjoying the journey with the county at the moment as well.
And the club scene here in London, is it strong? How many teams would you have, or what is it like?
It's incredibly strong at the minute, and I think like the COVID thing kind of did help that again. I think last summer there was a real reinvigorated attitude towards the game, and it was the most open senior football championship I'd seen in London for a number of years. Like any one of 7 teams probably could have made the semi-finals. Any one of 4 could have genuinely won the the county final. We got beat by the Kiernans in the semi-final by a point with the last kick of the game. And TCG were probably the favourites going into the semi-final. Fulham ambushed them, and then Fulham were the favourites going into the final, and Kiernans beat them. So it was wonderful, and I think that's also a huge reason why we've had such a competitive squad this year put together, because the club season was really, really strong and positive, and there wasn't only one or two teams dominating the season. But there's 24, 25 teams in London, senior, intermediate and junior grade. Some teams have a senior and a junior team, like the Kiernans and Tyrconnell Gales. Their junior teams would be all London-born players, and the London junior team now at county level is an all London-born team. So that's kind of a real good stepping stone that has been put in the last 2 years, because lads used to be thrust into the London senior panel at 18, 19. If they weren't ready, there was no middle ground. Whereas now, like the young lad I mentioned, Dara Griffin, there's two others, Owen Riley, Josh Oberhall, those guys are training with us on a nightly basis, but they'll then go and get 5 or 6 games with the London juniors this summer, which will really aid their development between club and county.
Absolutely. Sean Hickey, you play here with London GA. How did you get involved here? You're obviously a homegrown player.
So I started probably when I was about 19. There's a manager, Paul Coggins, a real character. He got me involved when I was about 19. So yeah, I've been kind of involved since then.
And did you play underage at all?
Yeah. Started when I was 8. And, been playing ever since up to then. Yeah.
And your family from Galway, your parents, did they ever influence you to get involved?
Not really. It was more friends at school that played it, and then they asked me to come down and join in, and then, just been there since.
So you're here quite a long time, involved in and out of the setup, over 10 years you were telling me. So is there a difference in the squad this time around?
There's probably a few younger faces that are really making a difference, and there seems to be a good blend of kind of experienced and younger lads coming through.
And what about the Irish players, and then you have the London-born players as well? There's about 10, I think, on the squad in total. So how is the mix there? I was just speaking to Ronan Sloan, and he told me that some of the best players on the team are the London-born players.
You could argue that. I'm London-born as well. Yeah.
You're one of them. He was on about.
It's a good mix. The lads that have been playing, like myself, since 8, they've doing same training throughout all the years. So. And then joining in with the Irish lads as well, it's a good mix. It's a good mix, I think.
And was it ever the plan to play for London GA?
Not really the plan, but once I got into it, I was delighted I was involved.
And obviously now this weekend you're back in the squad. You were out for a little while with a hamstring injury. How are you doing? Yeah,
not too bad. I've done my first training back Tuesday night, so it was nice to get involved this weekend. Hopefully get a win against Sligo and push on.
And obviously watching on from the sideline and seeing London getting these wins, it must have been tough.
Yeah, very tough. I haven't had too many wins playing with London, so it was tough watching it, but hopefully I can get involved in a couple before the year's out.
And as you mentioned, Sligo at the weekend, it's going to be a big challenge, but you hope you'll get over the line?
Yes, it seems like Sligo are one of the better teams in the league, but the form we've had so far, I think we've got a chance, so the lads pull it together, I reckon we can get a win this weekend.
And just speaking about the club setup here in London as well, this is where it all starts. Is there a good underage system for kids coming through to hopefully play for London one day?
It's getting better and better every year, I think. It varies from club to club. Some clubs have a big push on, and there might be underage from, say, under 8s up to under 16, and then it varies. There's not much then in certain other clubs, but it's definitely getting better, yeah.
And the club championship as a whole then at senior level, it's very competitive?
Yeah, it is, because there's new lads flying over from Ireland every year, so there's new signings every year. You don't really know which team's going to have new lads coming in and other teams developing, so it is very competitive, and it was very open last year, so hopefully it's the same again this year. There's no clear favourite any year.
And when you see the Irish lads coming in, is that a bit annoying sometimes when you're training all year and then these lads come in and they get their starts on the team?
With the Towers, we don't seem to get too many. We have quite a lot of London born, but yeah, when lads come over and there might be a team that you think you have the edge on and they could sign 2 or 3 county players.
It changes everything.
Yeah, it can change it, but yeah, it still won't make a huge difference, a couple of players.
And do you have that a bit then with the London team? You're seeing lads come in, Irish lads that might join in, and obviously you've been here for years. Is there any of that competitiveness, I suppose, amongst them?
I think everyone that comes down, you joining a team. Like,
You're happy they're here?
Yeah, no, it's good because it's improved the quality, and clearly, we're getting results this year, and there's been new lads that have come in that have definitely helped towards them wins.
And you yourself then, for work-wise, what do you work at, and how tough is that, I suppose, to balance all of that with being an inter-county player as well? Yeah,
so I have a small groundworks company, so it's trying to manage that can be a little bit tough, but yeah, I can manage my own time, so if I need to shoot off a bit early to get down to training, then I do, and then work late other nights that I can do. Yeah,
there's a lot of sacrifice that goes in.
Yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot of sacrifice really, but it's all worth it if you get a couple of wins under your belt, so it's happy enough.
Brilliant, Sean. Well, thanks so much for speaking to me.
Alright then, thanks, cheers.
Phil Roche, a Wexford man, and you're the kit man here of London GA. How long have you been involved here, Phil?
Since 1967, so I came over.
And how did you end up over in London?
I came over on a holiday and I ended up staying.
And you got involved with the London GA?
I got involved with the Father Murphys first, all Wexford club that time, we were all Wexford. And then 20 years later then we went to Open. We were all Wexford at one time, holding football, everything.
And you obviously see a lot of players coming and going here in London.
I've seen a lot, but this is a great bunch of lads. We all enjoyed our 2013. We got the kind of final, first time ever. That was a terrific year. But the players we have now are past them. In 2 years, no games, and then we come on then and we had great reports of the players and great turn up for players. I mean, it's very hard for London players. They leave the house in the morning at 6:30 and they go and do a day's work and they come back here 2-3 nights a week training, don't get home till 11 o'clock at night. So it is very difficult in London. But they've all told me we have 13 of the panel we had 2 years ago, and we got another 20 all in. So very good panel, I think.
And this year you've had 3 wins so far.
3 wins. We're going well. We didn't expect to start off so quick,
Yeah.
3 great wins. Good games, only point or 2 in it.
And as I said, you've seen a lot of the players come and go here.
I've seen a lot of them, yeah.
Do you have a player that really stood out, or anyone that was a brilliant player for London?
Oh, we had some great ones, Jerry Keane, that team they were at the kind of final. Jerry Keane was great. Look Mulvey, and Liam Gavigan. I mean, he stands out. London-born player, the first one. He's himself and Hickey are the 2 longest serving players with us now. I think they've done 12 years. He's longer myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so, how did you end up out here?
I don't know. I was 25 years in the London Minor Board. I retired after that. I don't know if stay there. I was involved in that for 25 years, register. And then I said, break. The next thing was a couple of lads wanted the kitman, so I paid the bill. That was it. I've been 4 different managers now.
And you love it?
I retired the last 3 or 4 years every year, but the way they're going, this team is going, I can't see it happening two-handed either.
And so, would you ever see yourself going home to Ireland?
No, I go back regular on holiday. I go back 3-4 times every year. I go back, but I got 5 children here now and 14 grandchildren. So
wow.
I think I am, as I said, 55 years in London and 20 years in Wexford. So that's me.
And do you follow the Wexford football at home?
I do. I football. I follow it. I know more about the club games over there than anything do. I have my Southeast radio. That gives me all the information I want.
Brilliant. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Ronan Sloan from Addycall in County Down. How did you end up here at London GA?
Yeah, a long story really. I sort of left Addycall when I graduated 12 years ago and made my way back. Went to the Middle East, then Spain. Now I'm in London. My fiance is working here, so that's what brought me here.
And what does she work as?
She's an actress and a teacher, so she does a bit of teaching work when she's not acting.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unreal. And was it the plan then to come out here that she could, I suppose, make it?
Yeah, that's the plan. Yeah, definitely. She's trying her best, got needs, and working away, trying to get as much acting work as she can.
Brilliant. And you're happy out being able to play football as well with London?
Yeah, well, it's worked out perfectly for us, isn't it? Because if I'm playing football, and she's doing her thing. So we've got our own thing going on, which is great.
And when you always leave a club back home, they can't be too happy that you move away. I'm sure Eddie Call weren't too impressed.
No, not too impressed. But the good thing is you can play club for two. You can play club football or league football for 2 clubs.
Okay.
In different counties, but you can't play championship for them. So I played league for Eddie Call in the summer. Every summer I go back home and play for them, and then I play championship for Fulham when I come back here in August time.
Wow, I never realised you could do that. That's unbelievable. So they don't mind at all then, because you're coming home for championship.
Yeah, well, I'm playing the league in the summertime. Yeah.
Oh, so sorry, the league. Yeah.
So I put all my effort into getting Eddie Call as hard the league as I can, and it gets me fit for the championship in September here, which is perfect.
And just when I knew that I was coming over and I was going to be interviewing you, I live in Down myself, so when I go to any of the games, I remember going up to Eddie Call and the programmes would have like 15 Sloan. So your second name is Sloan, and there'd be like 15 Sloan. So are you all related, or is it the only family that live in Eddie Call?
Yeah, I think we're maybe distantly related, but not closely anyway. And every Christmas, a few years ago, there was a Christmas charity fundraiser, Sloans versus the rest. Sloans actually came out as champions of that, so they're current champions at the minute. 15 Sloans. Good
stuff. And just back to London GA then, how has it been this year? Obviously you have 3 wins, which is brilliant to see. Is there good mood in the camp?
Oh, everyone's buzzing in the camp. Yeah, everyone's going towards the same common goal. Everyone's working towards it, and we're a real team this year. And everyone's knows what their role is. Everyone knows what they have to do, and everyone's buzzing just to be involved again in football and playing again, definitely.
And with the homegrown players and then the Irish lads that are coming in, how is that mix in there, or how many homegrown is there?
There are a good few homegrown players. There's like 5 or 6 guys who are constantly at training. Liam Gavigan's the captain. He really drives it on. He's a great player. He really sets the standard. A guy like Liam Gallagher as well. He's an absolute speed merchant. Them guys really make us feel like it's not just their county, but it's our county too. So it's great to be involved in that, and they really set the standard.
And was it ever the plan to play county football?
No, never the plan. Things just kind of fell into place here. Playing for Fulham, got the call from Michael, and then haven't looked back since.
And the championship football here for club boys, what's it like? Is it very competitive?
Championship is competitive, yeah. There's Fulham Irish ourselves, there's Chicago Gales who are the kingpins really, and St Kieran's won this year as well. They beat us in the final. So yeah, it's really competitive between those 3 teams, and there's a few more teams in the periphery at the minute as well.
And you were telling me about that final. Yeah, there was a few red cards.
Yeah, the referee seen something, I'm not sure what he's seen, but he decided that the best course of action was to send 5 guys off at half time.
Oh wow, at half time?
Yeah, there was a bit of a ruckus in the change, or going in the change rooms, and 5 guys were sent off in the restart.
Oh wow.
3 Fulham guys and 2 Kieran's guys, just to make it nice and fair.
Oh god, so next year, well this year, it's going to be all hell for leather trying to win that back?
Yeah, it is definitely. Like, we've got a great team. We've been in the final the last 3 years, so we're going to go for another final, hopefully get another one. But we play here with a lot of Kieran's guys, and you know, it's good competitive. Same with 2 Conor Gales guys, so it's good. Like, it's really good standard.
And do you see yourself ever going home?
Eventually, yeah, potentially, yeah, probably will go home. But at the minute now, my future's definitely in London for the next few years.
Michael will be delighted to hear that then.
I'd say so, yeah.
Brilliant, Ronan. Thanks so much for speaking to me.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you.